Empires used to rule through fear, but control has evolved. It wraps itself in convenience and routine, and most people never realize how tightly it holds them. Everything around us is built to make life simpler, to take the small frictions out of living, and when the world becomes frictionless, you never challenge the notion that you may be guided by external factors. You don't need walls when people never tried to leave. Both WALL-E and Cyberpunk 2077 tell the same story, but in different languages. One shows a future built on the overabundance of convenience, while the other shouts in neon and violence. But under the surface, they share the same warning. When comfort and convenience overpower ambition and reason, freedom erodes as a consequence. So, let's start with the quiet one. The humans in WALL-E live in what looks like paradise. On the Axiom, there's this rhythm to how people move. Two people can sit inches apart, drifting on their chairs, and never actually look at each other. Drinks appear in their hands, ads slide across their screens telling them what they may enjoy, what they may like next. But if you froze the frame and muted the colors, it would look like a hospital ward. But the lights are bright, the music is soft, and everyone is smiling at things that aren't really there. Nothing is forced, nothing is violent. It's just a room full of people who have never had to make a decision harder than what flavor they want next. They don't fight, they don't question, they don't even walk anymore. Machines do everything for them, from feeding them to even thinking for them. And yet, nobody sees it as control. And why would they? Control isn't visible when you're too comfortable to care, too comfortable to challenge the social norm, too comfortable for critical thoughts. That's what makes WALL-E's setting horrifying. It isn't a dystopia born from cruelty, it's one born from kindness, from the desire to make life easier. Ease becomes expectation, expectation becomes dependency, and that dependency chooses for them while taking away any agency these characters have in their lives, paving the way for machines to control the cattle. The people aboard the Axiom are pacified, and pacification lasts longer than oppression ever could.
Oh, hey, I see the ship's log is showing that today is our 700th anniversary of our 5-year cruise. Well, I'm sure our forefathers would be proud to know that 700 years later we'd be doing the exact same thing they were doing.
The apocalypse already happened. It didn't end with gunfire and war. It ended when people stopped caring enough to rebuild. A slow decay hidden under comfort and control. The tragedy of WALL-E isn't that the world died, but nobody cares enough to remember it, to even mourn it. Where WALL-E's world is placating and comfortable, Cyberpunk's is chaotic and abrasive. It's overflowing with ambition and choice, but choice isn't freedom when it's designed by someone else. Night City's dictators are the people's appetites for money and power. Going to a Ripper Dock in Cyberpunk feels casual. You sit down like you're getting a haircut, except the thing that's being cut up is your body. New eyes, new arms, even new lungs if you want it. The game treats it like an upgrade screen, a normal errand between gigs. You don't even need to think about what it means to swap out pieces of yourself. You just look at the numbers and ask, what will make you hit harder or survive longer? It's efficient, clean, transactional even. The line between me and my build disappears, and that's the point. The world trains you to see your body as one more product that can be optimized. Everyone is chasing something. People are trained to consume instead of obey. I would argue that form of consumption is obedience to a system that values profit over any decency. Every dream is manufactured. Even rebellion comes prepackaged, marketed as neon hair, new clothes, and the illusion of resistance. It's a world where you could look like a hero, as long as you pay for the costume. Cyberpunk's message of control lies in the exhaustion from the human condition. It isn't the violence or the corruption of the megacorps, because that would be too easy, too simple to blame the powers that be. It's the endless grind for comfort, even when that comfort rots your soul. People think they're chasing freedom, but they're chasing upgrades. A new product creates a new distraction, ending in a new reason not to feel the weight of being alive. And the most terrifying part, the most human part, it feels good, or at least fulfilling. Control doesn't need to break you down for you to submit. It can be as simple as making you happy, or even just satisfied. And the worst part, this doesn't apply to just fictional Night City. We laugh at WALL-E and call cyberpunk fiction. One future smothers you with softness, the other burns you out with intensity, but both are trying to solve the same problem. How do you keep people too distracted to notice they're not steering anything, but both are reflections of the world we live in right now? We built this machine. We built a system that rewards comfort over everything else. Our food comes faster than a thought. Our opinions are not our own anymore. The algorithm dictates what we should think, whether worthwhile or dismissive. We've turned convenience into a lifestyle, and addiction into a business model. No one forced us into this, though. We walked into it willingly, one small step, one little choice at a time. Whether it's the one button that made life easier, or the one subscription that saved us a minute, every step made sense, until the sum of them didn't. You don't need a government to control people who can't live without comfort. They'll police themselves to protect it. They'll ignore injustice if it means keeping their lives predictable. They'll stay quiet and docile because shouting and rebellion takes energy and time we aren't willing to give anymore. Because that's how the system thrives. Not through fear, not through policy, but through fatigue. Comfort looks harmless, but it costs something vital. The part of us that grows through discomfort. Every time we make something easier, we take away a reason to grow. Every time we remove pain, we remove the important perspective earned from that pain. In WALL-E, people forgot how to walk. In Cyberpunk, they forgot how to stop moving, but both lost their balance in different directions. One is too soft, one is too manic, but both are built on the same belief, that the goal of life is never to struggle again. When did struggling become a flaw to be eased? When did boredom become abnormal? We've built a world that rewards numbness. Everything works and feels smooth with the appearance of normality, even when we know it's wrong. And that's the problem with today. That's the problem with the human condition. Complacency. We've stripped the meaning from small things. Cooking your own meal has become a burden. Existing without technology is impossible. Sitting through silence without a need to fill the void. We replaced all of that with efficiency or the constant need for sensory satisfaction, and we call it progress. I argue progress that costs our humanity isn't progress at all. It's surrendering purpose for contentment. And there's a price for trying to erase every rough edge from life. Discomfort is what makes people alive. It's where awareness lives, where you stop drifting and start noticing. But we've built a culture that avoids it at all costs. We've mistaken comfort for peace and sedation for safety. The world doesn't need to silence us. It just needs to keep us content enough to not question the mechanisms. We are living through the softest form of control imaginable. One that feels like freedom because it's wrapped in convenience. We are all participants in it. We feed it, we defend it, we even fucking celebrate it. That's the hardest part, is that most of us know all of this on some level. We know the apps are listening. We know the feeds are tuned to keep us scrolling. We know the city in Cyberpunk isn't that far from the one outside our window. And yet we still reach for the same comforts anyway. Not because we're stupid, but because we're tired. It's easier to go along with the current than turn around and swim. That's the version of control that scares me the most. Not the one that beats you into submission, but the one that waits for you to hand yourself over after a long day, one small compromise at a time. When history looks back, it won't see an uprising or collapse. It'll see a slow fade into the void, a species that chose comfort over curiosity, convenience over growth. Maybe control doesn't need violence anymore. Maybe all it needs is a full stomach, a glowing screen, and a reason not to care.
Another evening I'll be sitting reading in between your love.